Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is strip this frame all the way down. Now before I remove the coils or anything else, what I'm going to do is put a rubber band around these. So I'm going to hold the rear post while I turn this, and I'm trying to make sure that wiring doesn't move around. I've seen them do challenges on Ink Masters where they give them a machine in a box and they need to throw it together and then tattoo with it. And some of the artists will break a wire so they can't even tattoo and finish the challenge, or they just don't know how to put a tattoo machine together. So get some nice chunky soft plastic washers that'll go in there, and they won't snap when you tighten everything up. The little wire underneath here will snap if these move around too much. When you take them off, put something around it like a rubber band or some tape, something that will hold those together. Alright, so we're going to throw some rubber bands around this. And I'm also going to include the capacitor. I'm also going to include the capacitor and this wire back here. Just going to throw this around. Now, before, if I held this coil would fall down. But now the rubber band is holding it. And it's also keeping these wires from moving around. And the next thing I'm going to do here is also going to help out with that. And that is to put some silicone around the bottom of these. Clear, waterproof silicone. And a ear swab or a toothpick. Little silicone on here to go around the bottom of this coil. And what this will do is keep these wires from moving around. It'll hold them in place. It will also keep the vibration down. It'll keep this area from getting rusty. If you have any kind of vibration, it'll keep the vibration down. This will do a lot of good for your tattoo machine, and it's going to help you out in the long run. The next time you take off these coils, the silicone will hold them together for you. Alright, so we're going to let that dry out a little bit so it's not so gooey before we can put it back on our machine frame. Your frame needs to be strong so that it doesn't bend. If it bends incorrectly, then nothing will line up. And you need a machine to line up if it's going to work correctly. So you want a strong frame. You can have strong aluminum also if it's built correctly. You can have strong plastics if it's built correctly. If it's real thin and flimsy, it's no good. It needs to be able to hold its shape, and it needs to have the right angles, and it needs to be able to hold the tube vise. Pretty much it just needs to be able to do its job. We don't want a lazy tattoo machine. We want a tattoo machine that will do its job. When I buy machines, I'm not looking at the cost of the machine. I'm looking at the materials the machine are made of. I'm not looking at how expensive the machine is to judge if it's a good machine or not. I'm looking at how the machine is built, what it is built from, what materials it is made out of, how it's built, and who built it. And the who built it is important. Did the person who made this know what they were doing? Do they build machines? Do they have a good reputation for building machines? If I call up Joe Blow and ask him, is this a good machine? Is he going to tell me yes? You know, what are the reviews on that machine? Not from people on Amazon, but from other tattoo artists. Sometimes machines have weird things on them. This one right now might look like just your normal tattoo machine frame. This was really recognizable before because it is the frame that had the little dragon design on it. And you can see I cut that off. That's a little bit of nonsense, I think, that didn't need to be on the machine. And I don't like anything pokey on my machines. That includes the bolts on the bottom. Should always be rounded off. And the reason for that is your hand. This is rubbing on your hand while you're tattooing, and you don't want anything pokey down there. You want that to be nice and smooth. So either you want some rounded screws there, so it's for comfort. You want these. You don't want something square poking out here with jagged edges that are going to rub on your hand. The other option is to inset the screws so that it's just flat down there. So the first thing I did with this machine was just take off all of those pointy things on there. But in doing that, I took the protective coating off that area. And the protective coating keeps your machine from rusting and getting a lot of rust on your machine. Rust is really bad for your machines. So what I've done is put a little bit of clear coat where I expose that metal to the air and the elements. Now, tattoo artists know which machines are better because they use them all the time. And they know what's comfortable. And these guys who have been tattooing for a really long time start to learn some tricks and what they prefer. One of the tricks that I've learned from a really experienced tattoo artist, I'm not going to call him old, I'm going to call him experienced, is to notch this rear post so that when you put your clip cord in there, what that does is instead of moving around like this while you're tattooing it, holds it in place. You don't get that movement, that wobble from your clip cord. That's less movement and less hassle just by notching your rear post. And that can be done with a Dremel tool. Just big enough so that that clip cord will just sit in there instead of sitting on top, and it'll keep it stiff instead of this thing wobbling around while you're working all the time. What we also did was put some silicone on the bottom of these cores. This is something you can just pick up from Walmart or Lowe's. It's just silicone, usually for your windows or your bathtub. And by putting silicone on the bottom of these, it keeps your wires from breaking. It also holds your cores together a little bit better. It's kind of rubbery, so if you have a little vibration, it's going to cut down on some of the vibration. And another thing you can do, I just put these rubber bands on here so that my wires wouldn't break while I'm messing with this. That's the problem a lot of people have, is they take their machine apart, they hold it like this drops down and breaks. So by putting that rubber band there and that silicone on the bottom, what I've done is made it easier to mess around with my cores and my coils and move them around and fix them without breaking any wires. And the extra silicone down here, if you have any bare wires, will cover that up and keep that from contacting your frame, which will short out your machine. Little trick there. I tell you, this silicone is the best thing I've ever learned. You can see every machine that I've tuned has a little bit of silicone down there. It prevents it from rusting and it keeps it from falling apart. I've had these machines for a really long time. They still have it down there and they're still working. It's not rusting down there anymore. Okay, so I'll move on to the video that I shot of me working on this machine. And just so you know, I'm going to try to get you out to some more locations. We're out here in my garage today working on machines. Next weekend I'm going to be in LA getting tattooed by Eric Herrera. And I plan on going more places and showing you more tattoo stuff. So don't forget to show your support to the channel. The more support you show, the more I can do. If you guys want to donate, you can always use GotBox or PayPal. The more money we get, the more time and energy I can spend on doing these videos and showing you guys new stuff. We have a ton of subscribers out there, so if everybody just kicked in a little bit of cash, we can do a lot more and I can show you a lot more things and we can go more places. This way you don't just learn from me, but you learn from other tattoo artists as well. And you can see other environments and see what other people do. I really believe that tattoo artists have their own way of doing things. I have what works for me and I'm showing you that, but you also need to get familiar with how other people work. I know as tattoo artists we like to collect a bunch of machines, and a machine like this usually runs about 10 bucks. Instead of going out and buying a $10 tattoo machine, you can always donate that money to the channel. And $10 will help you out a lot, because this tattoo machine isn't going to get you very far. But the information that we're giving you and the information we're putting out there and showing you, it will get you jobs. It will help support your career. And it will get you into a shop if that's the direction you're going. So we have a ton of subscribers. If everybody just chipped in one little cheap tattoo machine, we can do a lot more. You know, I keep getting comments about not having the best camera equipment. We have a ton of subscribers. If everybody just chipped in the cost of one little cheap tattoo machine, I can get some better tattoo equipment. Everything's been done out of my pocket. The cost to go to LA is coming out of my pocket. The cost for these tattoos, everything is just from me. And you have seen how far the channel has gotten just from that. And you can see the improvements we have made over the years without your support and without your help. So if you guys kick in and donate, in the long run you're going to be better off donating that money and learning new things, because it's going to take you further than this little cheap tattoo machine is going to get you. You can also help us out by buying some of our merchandise. Don't forget we have some 3D printed hand pokers. This is tattooing equipment, brand new, different than everything else that is out there. And this will up your hand poking game 100%. This will speed it up. Hand poking takes forever. One of these and it will cut your time in half. And more tattoos equals more money in your pocket. So think about that. We also have these hand pokers. They have really cool designs. We can customize these. So if you want your business logo added to this, you can see we have a little anarchy sign here. I could throw a tattoo university in there, or we can put your business logo in there. If you have a spirit animal or something that you want me to turn into a poker, I can do that as well. All you gotta do is contact me. 3D printing, man, it's the future. You gotta get in on it. This stuff is really awesome. Everybody loves cats. All the cats and animals I have are rescues, and they've come. This guy, this is Angus. I rescued him. He used to live underneath the high school with his brother and sister, so now they all live with us. Everybody would love Angus. So if you don't want to donate to the channel, you can always donate to the cats. So if you don't want to donate to the channel, you can always donate to my cats. So you feed the cats, I can do more videos. Look at that face. Look at it. What is it, Monty?